Hey, what's up, Terrell? Hey, what's up, Raz? Oh, excuse me. I shouldn't have worked with the Bondo this morning. It's making me sneeze like crazy today. Raz, did you get the file I sent? Because I never got an email if you downloaded it. Not even in my junk email. I forgot to ask you. Oh, I'm not worried about printing it. I just want to make sure you got it. That's fine. Because usually WeTransfer sends like a confirmation that you downloaded it. And I never got one. So I was kind of wondering if it just didn't go through or something. Because usually they send the email. You got 1 day left to download. 2 days left or whatever. Just haven't gotten anything. That's what I hate about these things. They break off so easy. This was such a cheap set. Damn it. Of course. Yeah, no problem, Raz. Like I said, I'm not in a rush for it. Whenever you get to it, you get to it. I gotta buy a better set of these drills. These things are so cheap. That's what I get for buying a $5 set. Yeah, I got that off of Amazon for like $5 because I just wanted to try it. I mean, these are fine, but these things snap like friggin' crazy. This is like the third one that snapped. No, I just got off of Amazon. I was told that there is better ones, but they're like dentist ones you gotta get. I'm gonna have to find a better set. But yeah, these things snap so, and even on soft resin they snap. It's kind of annoying. I guess I gotta invest in like some dentist ones. I mean, it's a good little tool, and they go, you know what it was? It starts out good, but once you get in a little bit deep, they just break. But, like, these things are, it's like, you know what it is? It's really, really cheap metal. That's what it is. Harbor Freight has them. I guess you gotta find, like, the, what is it, like titanium ones or something. Yeah, 'cause I know when I go to the dentist, because he knows I do statues, so he's always showing me his tools and we talk about stuff. I know his stuff is like this thin, and that shit doesn't break at all. So I'm thinking, we're gonna have to invest in something like that. I should ask him next time I go, see what he suggests. He usually gives me some good tips on things. I know there's that one micro store I haven't been to in ages. I wonder if it's still online. I know they used to sell a lot of these things, and they were expensive too. So it's like Micro Warehouse or something. I don't know. I think they might have better ones. And I like doing it this way. The only problem is when you even if you use the super swollen on a Dremel, the Dremel kind of vibrates and it just gets too big of a hole. So it's kind of a pain in the ass. Then again, even when you buy big drill bits, if they're cheap ones, they friggin' flatten out and they get dull after a couple Dremels. So, yeah, Micro Mart, I think that's it. I think that's where I used to buy stuff back in the day. Are they still around? Because I think they have sets like this, but they probably got to have better sets, right? Let's take a look real quick. Micro Mart. I think that's where I got my rotating sanding thing. Wait, Micro Mark, not Mart. Okay, yeah. So they got the hand tools, right? Let's see. I just hope they're not like, you know, sell the same thing as Amazon and they just jack up the price. That's the only problem. Well, actually, let's see. So what are these called? I don't know what the hell they would be called. Pin vise? Precision drill chuck. Now let's do a drill set. Hand drills and pin vices, right? Yeah, I figure they have an Amazon site, but I want to find quality one, you know? Because it seems like everyone's cheap and they break. I'm gonna have, I guess we gotta, do you know what they're called? Like these bits are called? There's gotta be like some kind of titanium bits that are well, that don't snap every friggin' time you touch them. Hey Devastator, hey Scott. Because I think even these like cheap, these little pieces here, these kind of like dull down fast too. Which kind of sucks. But these are good starters, but they snap like you said. Alright, this will probably snap on me too. See, this tool is good. Even though it's cheap, this tool's good. It's the bits that friggin' snap on you. Like you could, it's like such soft metal, you can almost bend it. Yeah, thanks man, appreciate it. Unless anyone in chat knows what these things are called. Like, this is kind of like a starter here. I can already feel it starting to bend. Hey Raphael, how's it going? Oops, I almost snapped it just now. I was kind of pissed too the first time I used it. I was like, this thing's amazing. And I broke the tip right away. I was like, you son of a bitch. Well, the bigger one seems to work a little better. Let's see, this one's broken. I just broke the other one I threw away. This little tiny one. Well, the problem with the Dremel is every Dremel I have, I use them so much that even when if I put in the small, like these small ones, they still kind of like vibrate and wobble on the Dremel. I probably have, you know what I probably should invest in? I should probably invest in one of those hand Dremel tools, those little ones like at Micromart. They're like electric ones, but they're like this big. Probably for these bits. I don't know if you guys have ever tried those. I'm pretty sure those are probably better to get. Thing is, I don't use this often though, that's the problem. It's like very rarely do I need to have these kind of Dremel bits. The only reason why I've been using them more is because I've been doing like the earrings and stuff. Oh, they did? What did they say about it? Because I'm having... Because this kit was like $5 bucks off of Amazon. I think it was on sale from like 9. Oh, okay. $59? I'll have to look into that. Like we were saying before you guys popped in, there's got to be a set like these, but titanium where they don't snap. There's got to be some kind of like titanium set that's you spend more money but they don't snap. Pin vise. I mean, for $5, I didn't think these things would last anyway. But I wanted to experiment just to see if it's something like, hey, you know, I want to get more of these down the line, which I think I do. Does it do like small little holes like this with no problem? Because like, if you guys ever got suggestions and stuff, like text me on Amazon or use my website. Because I'm always kind of, like I said, I rarely have to do this type of stuff, but when I do, it's just a nightmare. And like, this seems to like not really cut anymore. Try a new one, see if that's the problem. No vibration? Yeah, send me a link if you can. What I'm trying to do is we're coming close to Black Friday, so I'm trying to save a bunch of stuff for Black Friday weekend. I'm trying to price stuff out now and then see if there's sales. So I got a couple things at Amazon I'm looking at. So if you guys got anything else to suggest, let me know. Okay, this is the bigger one. Oh, there's a whole bunch of different sizes in here, that's why. Yeah, for $5, these things go dull pretty fast too. It's like soft metal, that's the problem. It's not like that stuff you would get at like Home Depot. Either my website or Instagram, if you don't mind. Alright, so we're gonna cut this. Cool, thank you. I'll check it out later. Start pricing some out, see if we can find something nice. Okay, so if we put these in the ears. It's gonna be hard to get this one in with that hair. And it's gonna be a bitch. Yeah, I'll check that out. I did see, I have one item I have saved. It's like this little thing, and it's a little tiny sander. Did I save the link? I was thinking of getting this item. Let me see if I still have it. I thought let's see. This thing. Here we go. So, have you guys ever seen this item? I saw that on my Instagram feed, and I thought about maybe checking that out, because that might be kind of save me with trying to get into little hard reach places, you know? It looks like a cool tool, but I don't know if it's really worth it. That's the problem. But it's something to kind of think about. Yeah, I don't know. It's something like that would be more of like a fine-tune area, but not something like to hit a large area. So I'm thinking about watching that this Black Friday. See if it's on sale anywhere like Amazon or something. Because there is times when you work on a sculpt and it's like there's like a little area like right in here you need to get, and then trying to get in there with sandpaper is a pain in the ass when you could just probably hit that little vibrating tool and like get it real quick. So that's kind of something I'm thinking about too. But yeah, definitely like a titanium set of these is on my list. So that's something I gotta look for. I just hate falling into that trap where I did that a while back, where I was buying all these tiny tools and all this stuff and I never used them and they were just collecting dust. So I want to make sure that if I'm going to buy one of those, I'll be using it a lot. So we'll see. We shall see. Alright. So It's going to be a bitch to get these earrings in. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to maybe tweak the hair a little bit. So that the earrings go in at the end with some glue. Figure that out. Where is the putty? And I still want to try that paint you guys suggested. It's in my Amazon cart, just kind of sitting there too. So hopefully Black Friday. What I did is I put a bunch of stuff in my cart and I wrote down prices, just in case Black Friday they jack up the price and then lower it, and they say it's on sale when it's been that price the whole time. So I'm just trying to play it smart this year. I forgot who it was that suggested in chat. I think somebody in chat said they bought them and they were pretty decent too. Hold on, I'll find it. It's in my Amazon cart. Well, my saved Kaleido or Kaleido? Kaleido. 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 Yeah, that's what I want to try. I want to try those. Do they work like, they said they're like enamels, but they're like acrylics or something? Game color inks? I didn't know they made inks. I still want to find a good transparency set like the Garage Kit colors used to be. Still can't find a good transparency. The Badger Freak Flex transparencies, they're too gummy. They're not really like thin enough. So that's something that's kind of been bothering me. But let's see. So are the Vallejo Game Color inks new, or is it something that it's been around? Game Color. Let's see. Vallejo. So this is Game Color. I've tried my own transparencies and I still can't get with the way I want them. So, alright, Game Color Range inks. I'll add it to my cart and see. Well, I'll try the inks. Like, I'm not really a fan of inks, but if I can sort of, maybe with the inks, create like a good transparency, I'll try it. I don't really use inks too much with my stuff. I'm not really into like very watery colors where you gotta overbuild. Yeah, but I'm always willing to try stuff and see. I think I have your Instagram. Let me go on Instagram real quick. Sort of playing the video now while I sort of mix this up. Wow, that door was pretty banged up, wasn't it? You built out the chest and muscles. Still cycling through. So the ink was on the red cape? Not bad. I'll have to check that out some more. Oh, so the Dremel tool you linked to me actually looks pretty decent. So you use this one a lot? Yeah, ink looks kind of clean. I'll have to check it out. Maybe I'll buy a set Black Friday. I got it saved in my cart, so check it out. Alright, I'll add this to my cart too. 20 bucks, not bad for a little Dremel thing. I'm also gonna have to look for a nice good see if there's got to be some kind of titanium set out there. Actually, there's another electric one that's like 36 bucks. Well, actually 50 bucks. I'll add that one to my cart too, just to add stuff and then look at it later. Then there's a micro set drill that seems to be higher. Oh, that's titanium. Okay, that's kind of one I'm looking. $20 set. I'll add that to the cart too. Okay. Alright, that's cool. Yep, your link kind of linked me to a whole bunch of other stuff. I'll have to check out more. Yeah, that's all I'm looking for. As long as the Dremel pieces don't snap, but I'll check them out. Okay, let's go roll some of this out. Be right back. finished yet. Let's see. Hey Whiskey, yes, it does get hot, but they don't really warp. At least it depends on the 3D resin and how thick it is. Raz printed these. These were fairly thick. I can't really show you how thick it really was, but I poured Smooth on 300 in here, and I mean, it got hot as hell to the hand, but it didn't warp anything, really. But then again, I also put rods up the leg for the help for support. Well, if you have any luck like me, Devastator, you buy a 3D printer and the next day it'll be obsolete. That's my luck. I just filled a couple items in the garage with resin, and I didn't really have any issues. If you do the slow setting resin, I don't know how long it stays hot. If you do the fast setting resin like me, the 300 cast, it gets very, very hot, but it cures so fast that even if it gets hot, it doesn't bend or warp anything. Raz had to leave chat, but he could come back and explain what thickness these were and what resin he used. But I didn't have any warping with these at all. So oh yeah, Raphael, that's not a problem. That's what the hobby's about. Keep sharing, and you know, there's always people that want to try this stuff, and then there's other people who rather have, you know, send it to people like us to do it too. So Alright, so these areas, after I cut this, like after I filled this in with resin, I dremeled out these areas and I re-sculpted this stuff. So it's not, it's basically once it was filled in with resin, the 3D resin, the regular resin acted as one whole thick item. So when I dremeled out these areas and then I rebuilt in with Aves, it was fine. Yeah, I think that's kind of normal thickness, what he said. I'm not really sure. But as long as the resin, it's really good resin, and you, it should be fine. I'll try to give an example. Let's see. So, yeah. So, on her head, that's, if you can kind of see how thick it is in there. This is what Raz printed out the whole entire bodies for. And when I filled them in with resin, I didn't have any problems with it. Yeah, I mean, if you want to do that where you pour in some resin and kind of like twirl it around and thicken it up, you could do that. But this rod right here goes all the way up her leg to her thigh, right? And it was bonded here with Aves, and it was bonded here with Aves inside the hollow area. So when I filled her with resin, I wasn't worried about this leg warping or bending, and I didn't get any warpage. With this resin that Raz uses, and the Smooth Cast 300, I didn't have any issues. Now, this is a 1/4 scale, and it really, if you look at the inside, it really wasn't a lot of, like, you know, it gets hot, but it wasn't anything where it would warp or bend it. Now, if you had a really, really big item like an Incredible Hulk and you filled that in with resin, that would probably get so hot that, yeah, that would probably warp more. And then the smaller the item, the less it would probably warp on you. But whatever resin Raz used with this stuff, which I think might be the Frozen 4K, if I'm not mistaken, I know the Frozen 4K doesn't have any problems. Like I said, I just finished a couple items in the garage. I have to do a garage kit on. I filled them with resin, and I didn't get any warpage with those either. So, no, you don't want to put it in the ice. You probably would shock it and it might crack and shatter. Honestly, I was in the garage on a nice summer day. I filled this, I connected the body on here, and I had the hole up here, and I filled her in with resin, and I filled her in, and she was sitting on the base like this, you know, the base just like this, right? And I filled her in with resin, and literally, it didn't get really hot yet, but once the resin went in there and it started curing and it started turning into like the gel form, it got very hot. But once you start getting into that gel form, it really starts locking up its position already, you know? I think the slow setting resin, if you were to put the resin in there and it would slow set for like, you know, that half hour, it might get so hot to the point where it would start warping on you. But with the fast setting resin, it's in, it's out, it cures, and you're done. It gets hot, but it's no problem. So, what I would suggest you do, what I do, is get key stocks, right? You know, I get all my key stock rods, And what I always do is I always line up my rods and legs, but I always make sure it's lined at the bottom. And then in the hole in here, I locked it in with resin and resin, so you have like a skeleton, right? That's locked here and locked here, so when you pour in your resin, if it was going to start warping on you, it wouldn't, because this is kind of holding it up. So that's why I do that. And honestly, I have not had a problem with any of these stuff that Raz has printed for me with this resin where everything warps. I haven't had an issue. It gets hot to the hand, and then it cures up and you're good to go. Yeah, I would always use fast setting resin, because slow setting resin, like especially if you have like a pinhole and leaking, if you have a slow setting resin, it's just going to keep leaking out of there. But with fast setting resin, it might leak a little bit, but if you kind of hit it like a rubber glove, and once it gels up, it's done. And me personally, I like all my stuff solid, so whenever I do these type of items, whether it's for me, a customer, or the customs for this videos, I want them solid. So I like them better when, you know, they're filled in with resin, because that also allows me to chop into the item and build out areas where if it was hollow, then when you chop it, you would have that problem with the hollow and you got to fill it in. It's a pain in the ass. To say counterweights, yeah. So, like, I'm trying to like. All right, so this duck is hollow, right? But this is yeah. I'll kind of explain some of that stuff for you. I'll give you a little bit of stuff. So this right here is a duck, right? This is the duck that Raz printed for the girl. Now I filled this up with foam. You can see there's foam in there because with him we didn't need to make him solid because we're not really doing custom work on him. But whenever I have extra aves, I made a rod, and I'm going to put this rod all the way up through here, right, like this. And then that's going to go into the hole into the base here with a keyhole, and it's going to be like a weight so he doesn't move around, right? But if I was going to fill him in with resin, you know, and I have this big hole, what I would do is I would line this up to where it's perfectly straight, and I would lock it in, and then I would pour in resin in these two areas, you know? Hey, what's up, Henry? So that's what I would do for that. Now, if you want to do counterweights too, like if you want to balance your planes, so if you're going to use a two-part resin, I'll show you the two-part resin in a second. So this is a base I'm working on for my friend, right? But it was all hollow under here, and I filled it in already. But if you got yourself some fishing weights, you know, so say you needed to fill in the front of your nose of your plane. So what you could do is you could put a couple of fishing weights in your nose of your plane, and then pour in your resin, and your two-part resin will lock this into place, and then you'll have a heavier weight. So this right here, this base, has about, I think I put about this many fishing weights inside this base, and I poured resin on top of it, and it locked it in place. So if you ever just go to Walmart, get yourself some fishing weights too, and you can use that to sort of balance your stuff too if you need to. If you need something to hold it in a direction. So I use a lot of this stuff as well on stuff. So anytime I feel that a statue is going to be top heavy and it might topple it, I always put weights in at the bottom, and I use the 2-part resin to lock it in place. But let me go grab the resin. I'll show you the resin I use. So here, all right. So this is a Smooth Cast 300, right? Smooth Cast 300. This is called a gallon kit. You don't have to buy a gallon kit, but a gallon kit comes with 2 gallons. 1 gallon of A, 1 gallon of B. Now the reason why I buy Smooth On is because I feel it's the best resin out there. I've tried those cheap resins that you can get on like Amazon or eBay, and they always feel like they don't cure correctly for me, but this stuff seems to cure perfectly fine. And then if you want to mix it too, you could buy the ink. So you could buy ink. You could buy black ink or blue ink or whatever, and all you need to do is put like just a little bit of a drop in there, and when you mix it up, it'll turn gray. So this way when you mix it, it's not pure white. So I use all this resin in all my statues. But the problem with the gallon kit is once you open it up, you got about a good 6 to 8 months before it starts going bad. So I know that if I fill up my items, it's gonna, you know, I'll burn it up. But if you want, you could buy trial kits. It's like a $40 kit, and it comes in like a bottle of A and B about that big. So I'm just not a fan of the cheap resins. I've had bad experiences with them. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what's inside your base. Because this whole thing is you probably can see here, this is a tin. It's a baking tin, and what I do is I turn the tin upside down and I pour that resin in the tin and I make my base. So this is that resin, this is the resin, it's all the same stuff. Hey butterfly. But you'd be surprised on what's in a lot of these statues. There's a lot of people that they might want to save in, save resin. So if you have a hollow item, but say you use Aves like I do roll up my Aves in balls sometimes, and then what I'll do is I'll throw a bunch of Aves in the hollow item, and then I pour in resin, and it kind of saves on space and money. Hey Pete, how's it going? Yeah, get a trial kit from Smooth On, you know, when you're ready, and you might like it. I know some guys in chat, and I know some guys in the hobby, they'll buy the cheaper resins off of eBay or some other sites because they say that resin's fine what they do. I just don't like the idea of buying a cheap resin from a no-name company, fill in a 3D print, and then down the line somehow that resin's so cheap it starts leaking out of the item, you know. With Smooth On, it's like the biggest resin company in I guess the country, and they sell all the stuff for, like, you know, even movie sets and everything. And I've never had a problem with their product. But when I did buy the cheap resins and I mixed them up and I used it for like bases, it always felt like they were never curing correctly. But that's my experience. I look at it this way. You're gonna buy a gallon kit of cheap resin, which is probably like what, $20 cheaper than Smooth On. you might as well spend the extra 20 and get a good quality resin. Hey Pete, yeah, I'm doing good. I forgot today was Friday. I was really busy this week, and it is cold out. Woke up this morning, it was like 46. So summer's over. No, keep asking, Whiskey. That's what we're doing. You ask away. Okay, so this model, I'll find it for you. I'll show you. Hold on one second. So we'll go to Colts. Poison. Alright, so this is the 3D model that I got. Alright, so that's Poison from Street Fighter from Abe 3D. So if you look at the nude version of her, this is basically the model. So she was printed hollow, and then therefore once I filled it in with resin, I went ahead and started sculpting all the other stuff. I cut into here and I did all this other stuff. Oh, you're at work in the North Sea? What do you do? I can only imagine how cold it is out there. What are you, a fisherman? Oh, gas platform. Damn. Well, much respect to you for doing that. I know those are crazy hell of a jobs. It's not a bad job. It must be a good paying job because I know a lot of people don't do it, right? Hopefully it's good paying. I don't have sea legs, so I definitely couldn't do that. I'm not I like the ocean, but I'm not really good on boats. I'm a go-kay in the water, but I can only imagine being on the rigs. That's kind of close to like if you were crabbing almost, right? Except you're just not in the water as much. And I'm pretty sure it's strict there. You can't be working on statues while you're messing around with the rig. Yeah, I can imagine. That's crazy. But like I said, much respect to you for doing that. I used to watch a lot of those crabbing shows back in the day, and I've seen videos of the oil rigs and stuff. If I were you, I would probably like put like I would get like comic books on like an iPad, and I would just be like reading comic books all week long when I have free time. Don't they confiscate your phones though on those rigs, or am I thinking of something else? I thought you weren't allowed to have phones or anything. Yeah, those pro acrylics, I'm getting used to them. I really do like the skin tones on those. I do like them a lot. I gotta try to get more paints. I just haven't had the chance to experiment really. Oh, I got you. All right, that's good. I just figured the security would be crazy. Yeah, I gotta try more of the Pro Acryl colors. I only bought the skin tones, but so far I like them. I wish they would make some more skin tones, some variations. The paintbrush went bad. That I don't know. I don't really use too many paintbrushes. I just get those ones I normally get. Yeah, once you get used to the key stocks, you'll like them. It's just a little bit of a learning curve, kind of sort of what I came up with. Well, those Pro Acryl are just like the Jesse Garage kits almost back in, at least the skin tones are, and that's kind of why I like them. They got that it's almost like a charcoal feel. It's not a very rubbery paint, which I kind of like. kind of sad that after all this time I'm still talking about Jesse's paints. So much I miss them. They were the best skin tones ever. Everything from their transparencies to the regular skins. I'm mostly into the 1/4 scale stuff. That's kind of my sweet spot. But when I do the 1/6 stuff, that's usually when people want me to work on it for them or something. Just for myself and side projects, it's always 1/4 scale. But for the 1/6 scale is usually like bow and design stuff. And that's usually when somebody asks me to work on it for them. I mean, I've done 1/3 scale stuff too, but those are so big. It's like working out while working on a statue. Yeah, I miss those. I miss the damn Jesse's paints. The skin tones alone were just so damn good. Just shame. I don't like working on small stuff like 1/7 scale or 1/8. Those things are a little too small for me. Is it 1/4 scale from what company? Because some companies, their scales are different from everyone else. The problem with the recipe was, from what I understand, it was called Lifetone Paints. And it was a guy that was a chemist that created Lifetone Paints. And he made other paints for other companies. And you can sort of license out his formula for paints and colors. He would mix them up for you. So it would be, you know, he would make Lifetone paints for like taxidermy companies, but he also made it for Jesse's paints. You know, if you get what I'm saying. So like Vallejo could use their formula and make it for like some other company, but it would be like, I don't know, like say Jim Bob Paints by Vallejo or something, you know. So that's what that guy did, and from what I understand, like even if you wanted to get his formula, you can't because the guy disappeared. So either he passed away, or he sold off the company. So I don't even know if you could get his chemist formulas now. Anyway, the guy, from what Jesse told me, he just disappeared, just gone. Just like one day, never answered emails ever again and nothing. And the paints he was still getting on his orders were getting worse and worse and worse. So I think the last time I talked to Jesse was probably like 2 years ago about this now. Probably 2 or 3. He said he thinks he passed away and the family took over the business but destroyed it because they weren't chemists. That's what I think. That's what he thinks happened. No, I don't think it was take the money and ran. I think something happened. Nobody in the company was replying to Jesse, and I guess the other companies that the guy was making the paint for, like the Lifetone paints, they were having the same problems. So something happened. I mean, if I had a company like that where I was like, you know, a chemist and I was, you know, supplying people with paints and stuff like that, I think you would have to have some kind of fallback if you passed away, like some kind of will, and then like, you know, somebody in the family or whoever inherits the business would have to send out an email. But then again, I think one theory was that the family inherited the business, but they didn't know what they were doing, so they just tried to keep their mouths shut and kept it going, but it got worse. I don't know. I don't know the whole story. One day I'll have to give Jesse a call and see if he's ever heard anything. But I think it's just a done deal. Well, I think this was all before the lockdowns too, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or is it after the lockdowns? I think it was before the lockdowns. Or during the lockdowns, and it got worse. I can't remember. Probably during the lockdowns. I don't know. I do remember Jesse saying at one point he wanted to get the paints mixed up and also put into stores. Like, you know, if you go to Jerry's Artorama or something, you could pick up his paints. I think that was the goal with his business all along. But that kind of went to hell. I mean, the guy that made the paints would probably make bank too if that happened. But I think he passed away. I think that's probably what happened. Unless he sold the business and whoever bought it didn't know what the hell they were doing. And they completely screwed up. That's a possibility too. It could have been like somebody came up to him and say, "I'll buy your business," and he was probably like, "Take it." Took the money, went down to Aruba, and whoever bought it just didn't know what they were doing. Who knows? Or maybe Vallejo bought it. We don't know they bought it just to destroy the company so their paints would sell more. That's a possibility too. Yeah, it's probably on the beach in Mexico. Vallejo's laughing their ass off because they bought the company and they tanked it. And now they're selling all the paints. Yeah, at the end of the, it sucks at the end of the day, but, like, you know, what are you going to do, right? Well, like I said, Jesse at one point really wanted to expand his business and get it out there, but sadly, I guess the guy just did something. It's a weird story. It really is, actually. It's a very strange story. I feel bad for Jesse though. You know, it's like he was really worked hard on that company. He really worked hard on asking people colors. He really worked with the guy to get the formula right the way he wanted the formula. He took a lot of, you know, criticism from people, and he really got the paints to the point where everybody loved all the colors, and then it just crashed and burned because we don't know. So it really sucks. Yeah, I've always been. I haven't had a chance to talk to Jesse in a while because I just had so much stuff going on in the past 2 years. And I don't go to the Wonderfest show, but I'll have to reach out to him someday just to see how he's doing and see if he ever got any word. Said I just fell in love with the paints. Imagine it's one of those stories where, you know, his kids were working with him in the company and he was like, you know what, I think I'm going to retire and hand it to my kids. And they got it and they completely just like burned all the money to the company and never made paints. Imagine like that's the story. And he just watched his company burn while they were out there partying. Yeah, they could have been having like, you know, crack parties and all the thinner for the paints they were just kind of burning, making meth. We might have to check some YouTube crime stories. Maybe there is a story about a chemist where his kids started a meth lab. You mean creating keys for arms and stuff? You mean stuff like this with the magnets and the key stock, like these? Because I do that in pretty much all my videos. Oh, let me grab something to drink real quick. Oh, filling gaps? Yeah, that's I'll slice the finger. Do I have something here that I can show you real quick? Let's see. Filling it gap. I just did a few things. Hold on, I'll find something. I will find something. It's kind of funny, I just did a whole bunch of that stuff this week. Oh, so you want to... I see what you're saying. I got you. Alright, so... for something like that... what I'll show you is... let's... I'm trying to see. I got body parts and crap all over the place. Let's see if I can find something to give you an example of what to do. Alright, I can probably show you on this. Let me move stuff so I don't break anything. Probably help out a couple other people too. Alright. So if you remember from last week, this is that Akuma statue. Were you able to get Aves? I can't remember if you were able to get Aves, because the only way I do it is that I use Aves to do this. Alright. So basically what you're saying is you don't like the way there's this gap there, right? Now, sadly, there's always going to be a line, but you can clean up the line as best as possible. So, with something like this, what I would do normally, right, is I would take Aves, and I would take my Aves, you know, with the salt, Alright, and then basically what I do is I would take my Aves and I put it around the item like so. Now this is just sort of like a rough idea to give you an idea what I do to kind of seam up stuff. Right? Make sure you put your make sure you get the Aves sort of like down there pretty well. Okay? And then I'm going to go into the garage and I'll put baby powder on here, but I'll show you the baby powder I use real quick. So I just go to my local CVS. If you have like any kind of like, you know, store that sells baby powder, I get it with the cornstarch, but I get it with paraben free or phthalate free, just so it's not like super has perfume in it, right? So I'm going to go in the garage and I'm going to put baby powder on this area here over the garbage can, because if I do it in here right now, it's going to go all over. So I always do this in the garage. Alright, so you see I put all the baby powder there, and then what you do is you take your keyed item and you sort of squeeze in that area, right? And then you pop it out, and then you put it back in like so. And then if you take your time, if you take your time, you can sort of and if you grab a dentist tool or something, you can sort of take out the area. And then when you pop it out again, you know, you kind of, you want to use enough baby powder, but you don't want to get all that solvent in there to get it tacky again. And then sort of you fix up your area in there. So this way, if this was already magnetized, it'll go in there, and when it cures, you'll be as close as possible to without a big gap in there, right? Like so. But what you might want to do is when it cures up, then you can kind of get in there with like some sandpaper once it's cured and sort of like sand it up, you know? And then that's how I got these arms. So that's kind of what I did with this head for her. Where's your head? What did I do with the head? Oh, here it is. So you see how the A's is all around the neck? Well, I put baby powder and then I put the head on, and it sort of lines up the neck a bit as best as possible. So that's kind of what you can do for getting a key nice and stuff. So it's, you gotta kind of get used to it, but you can do this throughout the whole sculpt and it won't be as big as a gap. And that's sort of how you can kind of, now you see how it's kind of built up a little bit big over here? That really doesn't matter, because once it's sanded down and everything's done, it's good. So that's kind of how I do filling in gaps when I want to put two pieces together. And it might not always, you got to be careful though too, because if you don't push the item all the way in and you let it sit, then you know, you just gotta kind of play with it. And then say you want to do this side after you did that, you get some of the solvent and you kind of just take it away, the baby powder, and then you can go ahead and you could do this section now, you know? So you can put this section on like so. And then you hit it with baby powder again. But if you don't hit it with baby powder, what happens is it'll stick to this section. Yeah, baby powder is perfect. You don't, I mean, it's cheap. You go to the store and pick it up. Just do it in the garage, because, you know, you can see it's getting everywhere now, and it'll just start going all over and create dust. And if you screw up with this, you know, you could just kind of pull it off and try again, you know. It gets a little bit messy. So if you get a little messy here, right, and you want to rip all this off, so it's kind of messy here, you just grab a paper towel, and if you want to put some of the solvent on the paper towel, you could kind of get in here and pull it off. And you could try again. And you don't have to worry about the baby powder on the Aves afterwards, because you could kind of sort of sand it and clean it up and it's fine. And you don't have to worry about if baby powder, see how there's baby powder here on the table? See how it's kind of in there? As long as you mix it back up, you're good. A little baby powder is not going to mess with your Aves. Yeah, and that's pretty much how I usually do keys. You know, even if so say you have the square key here, right, and you have a big hole here, and you want to create a square key, it's the same thing. You put a bunch of A's in here, put baby powder on here, and kind of like squeeze it. But the only problem is if you have to add more, it's like say there's A's here, and it's got baby powder on it, and you want to add more A's, you got to get in there and you got to kind of like get all that up, and then add more A's and then more baby powder, and you gotta get used to it and how to work it. There's times where I can take a key and I could put it into here and pop it back out, and it's perfect, and I never have to touch it again. And there's other times when I pop it in and pull it out, it sticks to this, and then it's here, and it's a pain in the ass. That's why I don't do big key stuff. With this, I would cut this off and I would do my key stock instead. And I would have like a little key and a key stock to go in, because that's easier. So, yeah, that's how I do, that's how I seam stuff up. Trying to... Yeah, that's kind of how I do it. Alright, so since we got Aves and it's been staying out a bit, let's see. Gotta mix up some more. I actually got to do an order with Aves soon. I'm down to down to one container left in the fridge. That damn it! That damn Medusa I've been working on took up so much material. Like, I worked on a Medusa. I think I went through about a tub and a half of this already, and that's just the regular Aves. That's not including the fix it. But my mistake was when I first started working with Aves, I was like, you know what? I was like, wait a second. Instead, I was thinking like maybe I should use flour, because you know how like when you bake a cake you use flour for the dough and everything. And I was like, wait a second, maybe I should use baby powder. So I went over to the store and I got baby powder. But my mistake, I got the scented, and I used the scented, and the whole garage smelled like a baby factory in there. It was so strong. It was like this lavender baby powder stuff. I couldn't breathe in the garage, so that's why I try to get the unscented stuff now. You know what it is like when you're in the garage and you use it, but then when like the wind hits the garage, it just kind of swirls around, and it was bad. Lesson learned. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this is going to be sort of like a filler in a way. The reason why I'm using a whole rod all the way up here is because it's in the garage, so I just said screw it. Doesn't need to be super... Where is my shitty one? This will be fun. Well, you know what it is I'm at the point now where I just want to go in the garage, throw the baby powder on it, get it on, and get back in and start working. So if you're working on one project and you're not doing like a couple like I am, if you have a shop vac next to you, you know, you could put a little baby powder on your desk and do it, and then have a shop vac next to you and sort of like suck up the extra dust so it doesn't get too crazy in the house. But with me, like, you know, if I want to get this moving and I want to get on to the next one, I just go in the garage, slap some baby powder over the garbage can and come back in. So that's why I do that. But whatever works for you, go ahead. If it's like a really, really cold day, like really cold, and I don't want to, and I'm just working on something where I'm going to be in the garage for like 5 minutes, but I need to use the baby powder, I will get my vacuum cleaner and I'll do it on the desk. You know, if I have to like sand down this area, but it's just too cold and I don't want to sit in the garage for like 15 minutes, I could do it right here and then hit my vacuum and do it. But I just don't want you coming back saying, I did the baby powder, but it was all over my house. I don't want to be blamed for that stuff. So I'm just warning you from my mistakes. That works. Alright. Okay, that works too. If you, I think that's probably what I would have had if I didn't buy this house with the garage. I would have. There was another house I was looking at where I would have had to probably build a shed and do this type of stuff in it. So I get it. Yeah, I looked out with this house having this big room right next to the garage, so it kind of became the studio garage work. But I don't think if I had a house with this type of setup, I probably wouldn't be able to do this for a living. So, put a heater in there now. I got a heater in my garage. It's called the hot one. It's a garage heater. I don't know how big your shed is, but I got this big heater in my garage, and it takes about a good 20 minutes to heat up the garage now, but it's really good. I don't think they make the heater anymore. You probably wouldn't be able to get it anyway in your country. But yeah, I would, if you got a shed, you should get something in there. Where am I at here? Alright, so I like the way that looks now. I don't want to mess it up anymore, so we'll kind of move on to the next thing. Hey Raz, what resin did you use again? What resin do you use? I don't know if Whiskey's in chat anymore, but I forgot what resin you use for your prints. Well, the only reason why I say get a heater is because with paint and chemicals, if you're in extreme cold, it's not good. You really want to be in you really want to have some kind of heat in there because you could run into issues. Is it a shed that you can insulate? I would think about it, you know, if you can insulate it. Put in some insulation and get a heater. It'd only help. Because I don't know if you ever try to prime in the really extreme cold. Primer kind of bleeds. So that's a reason why. Alright, I'm trying to find a picture here. There it is. No, that's not the picture. Is this it? No. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. There we go. Alright. Alright, I'll use the bathroom real quick and we'll start working on her shirt. Alright, let's see where we're at. Yeah, you definitely don't want to leave anything in the cold. The Aves actually would be fine in the cold. Like, your Aves in the cold would be fine. Because I leave my Aves at the refrigerator if I know I'm not going to use it for a couple days or wherever. Or if I buy fresh Aves and I'm not using it yet. So if I'm like say I got like 5 items done and I'm just going to be painting for like a week or two, I'll put all my Aves in a refrigerator. Because the guys at the Ave studio, when I talked to him, he says it's better to leave it in the refrigerator, it'll last longer. I mean, you don't want to turn it into ice though. You don't want to be in the freeze in like cold weather, like if it's like ice out. But if it's cold, it's fine. It's the extreme heat is when it dries up and it starts to get like crystallized. That's when it turns. That's a bad thing. Yeah, but all my primers I leave in the studio now. I don't leave them in the garage anymore. Even in throughout the whole year. Because I left I'll never forget the one time when I first started doing this. I left the primer in it was like in the garage when I first got the house. It was like almost 0 degrees out that night. And the next day I woke up. I sort of got the garage heated a little bit with the space heater, but it wasn't really. And I sprayed the primer, and it just bled throughout the whole statue. And I was like, so I learned that extreme cold is bad with primer. So that was a mistake. It's kind of funny. I thought it would bleed in the heat, but in the heat, it dries up faster, but in the cold is where it bleeds. Yeah, I think with a shed, you wouldn't have. I'm not saying you have to do a crazy installation and sheetrock it. I think if you just want to warm it up, you could probably go over to your I don't know if you have Home Depots out there, but some kind of hardware store. And you could get that pink blocks that you use for installation, and you could probably just tack up some blocks around those pink insulation blocks. And if you don't want it pink, you could probably just slap some paint on it, and you could sort of get some kind of insulation in there. Because they make those foam pink sheets like this thick, like a ½ inch, and just putting those up would probably help. It's a shed. It doesn't have to be pretty. But I mean, if you insulate it and then you paint it white, I mean, that's a step in the right direction. Unless you have the time and the know-how, you can put up the insulation and you can put some thin sheetrock sheets in there too. I forgot who did it. There was a guy in a hobby who had one of those sheds you buy from Home Depot. Those, and you put it together. And he did that. He got it. He put in the insulation and he put some sheetrock up in it, and he put one of those split units, like the AC and the heater in it, and he used that for his little thing. Yeah, I get it. Small space, not a lot. It sucks. I always call it the poor man setup, I mean, before I bought this house back in the day, I was in an apartment with my brother, and I was using my parents' garage on weekends. So in the apartment, I built a little I put up some of those PVC pipes, and I built a little section inside the in the apartment with shower curtains. So I built a little poor man's airbrush section with shower curtains. So my brother didn't care because he's like, I'm not going into the living room, because he was always in this room anyway. So in the living room area, in this little square area, I built this little shower curtain setup. I called it the poor man studio. It was kind of funny. But it worked out. That's all that counts. And then when I moved into another apartment before I bought this house, it was in an attic above a house. And it was one of those attics where it's like right up on the roof and it was a triangle. But there was this little cove area, and I put my desk in there, and I built another little shower block for airbrushing so it wouldn't go out throughout the whole apartment. The guy who owned the house came up to one day. He said, "What the hell is that?" I go, "Oh, it's my little airbrush section." He laughed. He thought it was funny. He's like, "As long as you clean up when you leave the place." I said, "That's what I'll do." So it worked. I don't know on Patreon, actually. I'm so bad with Patreon, I don't know. But I mean, if you use my website or Instagram, you can either use my website's contact page or Instagram, send me a message and I'll accept. And you can send pictures that way. Patreon, I'm so bad with the Patreon stuff, I really am. The Patreon is just more of like support for the streams and voting. I don't really have a lot of time to do like to make it a big Patreon, you know? But if you're on Instagram, that's always an easy way too of doing it. Yeah, the Patreon just it started because everybody in chat was, you know, on the streams was like, instead of like sending a donation or a tip on YouTube, they were like, just start a Patreon, and then that's kind of how it started. So it's more like, just instead of like tipping in YouTube or whatever super chats, just, and then what I did is whenever we start new projects, people get the vote, and then they also get first dibs with like a silent auction thing on the items. So that's kind of how it evolved. YouTube, I think, stopped the private messages a long time ago, and I don't have, like, I don't have where people could send links in chat, because you need moderators to do that, because then you start getting spam and people start spamming crap. So that's turned off. Yeah, it's really, I'm a little bit more simplified with everything. But Instagram works fine. Just send a message and then I'll accept it when next time I'm on. Yes, takeout has gotten crazy. It's gotten to the point now where, like, if I want something to eat, it's going to be like Chinese food because they have that $7 lunch special still. But anything else is, I think now there's no meal like under $15. And even the diner right down the road from me, when I first moved down here, a hamburger was $8. Now you get a bacon cheeseburger, it's almost 20. Which I don't understand how people do like DoorDash and stuff. You know, because then you're paying all the extra. Have a good one, Pete. I mean, Terrell, if you really want to go back, I remember when I used to go and get 2 slices of pizza and a soda for $1.99. Damn, sound like my father now. Back in my day. What I've been doing a lot lately is I go to the German butcher, because it's the only butcher down the road, and I get a pound of ground sirloin, because it's still cheaper than going to ShopRite getting their chopped meat. And what I do is I just grab some taco, like tortillas, and I make myself like ground taco meat, or instead of like tacos, I'll make like burger meat, grind it up on the pan, and just make wraps. It's actually cheaper. Yeah, Taco Bell, like I said, even though Taco Bell's okay, I'd rather just grab chopped meat and make my own type of tacos. I get that Lawry's or whatever taco mix, and I'll just make those. So that's kind of what I've been doing a lot for like lunch. Or I'll have my chicken and rice. Just grill some chicken and put it on rice. It's getting crazy out there. Oh, it's crazy. I went to Chipotle last week, I think it was. Because I really just wanted to have something light, but I really wanted like chicken and rice type thing. So I was like, you know what, I haven't had Chipotle in a while. So I went over there and I got it. So I got their rice bowl. I asked for extra rice, just got the chicken, some of that tomato stuff, and lettuce, and that was about it. Oh, and the corn, because I don't eat the beans. So I got double chicken, because if you don't put the double chicken in there, it's not worth it. It was like $15. I was like, what the hell happened? Hey, raccoon. Even pizza, man. Whew. My friends came over one time. We got 2 pizzas with toppings. It was almost like $58, something like that. Yeah. Pizza used to be the cheap thing. Yeah, raccoon. She is better. She did go home the day after. She took a lot of the medications and cleared up her leg and everything, so things are going well. Just the age is kicking in more and more each month. Other than that, I just told my parents stop with the emergencies. I said I need a break. I said I got too much work to do. I said give me a couple months and then have another emergency. Oh, raccoon! I did watch Peacemaker. I think up to episode 7 or 6. Up to the episode where he got arrested. I don't know if there's any more. I have to say, while it was okay, I felt it's too much like The Boys now. Between all the drugs and the nudity and the killing, I'm like, I think they went too close to The Boys, and I kind of don't really like that for DC. I know he's a messed up character, but I'm kind of not feeling it as a DC show. kind of wish James Gunn didn't do that with DC characters. I guess it's just a personal preference of mine. Just kind of not really liking that. No, I haven't watched Gen V. I saw that it was on, and I just haven't had a chance. What it was is this past weekend, I was so bored. I wanted to see something new, and I was like, you know what? Let me just start Peacemaker. But it felt like The Boys too much. Is this the last season of the Gen V? Well, Homelander died in the comic. Homelander, yeah, I mean, The Boys is really different between the show and comic. I don't know. I mean, I guess between The Boys and Peacemaker, I'm kind of like, alright, enough of this type of superhero stuff. Let's get back to DC characters, you know, the way they should be. So I'm hoping Gunn kind of goes away from this. But I think once Gen V is done, I'll binge it. I don't think that's not the type of show I could kind of wait for each week. I think it's something I'd rather just kind of watch in one shot and then I'm done. That's what I heard, but I haven't finished Peacemaker. I don't know if it's like done yet. Like I said, I just saw up to where he got arrested. I mean, like I said, it's an okay show. I just don't like the nudity and drugs and the killing and stuff. It's just it's like watching The Boys all over again. It's kind of like almost like, did James Gunn like, oh, The Boys is popular, let's just do that. But the spirit of Halloween stores are everywhere now. This week I had to go to Lens Crafters to get a new pair of glasses. Went to the eye doctors, and then everywhere I went, there was a spirit of Halloween store propped up. Guess that's how many businesses went out. What, spirit of Halloween stuff? I bet. So you guys excited for Halloween, or you don't care? Everybody got their decorations up by me already. They're all up. I don't even know when everyone had time. One day I was driving, and the next day everything was up. It's like, what the hell happened? Yeah, I don't do any decorations at all, but it's just everybody's just doing the skeletons now. It seems like that's the big thing, is everyone does the skeletons. Being lazy's fine. You made it through the 80s and 90s, you're allowed to be lazy. Now, if you were lazy and not paying your bills, then that's a problem. But if you're paying your bills, you could be lazy. That's why I was lazy this past weekend watching The Boys. I think it was Saturday, I woke up and I was like, I can't work on anything today. I was like, I'm just not with it. So I didn't do anything. Yeah, by me, there's a guy where he put the skeletons on his two Jeeps, and the Jeeps are uncovered. They're open, so I guess they're off-roading cars, so I guess when it rains he doesn't care. So the skeletons are like on the Jeep, like they're driving, having a party. Which is funny, but I'm sitting there cringing because there's no tops on the Jeep, so when it rains, everything gets flooded inside, so. But like I said, I guess they're off-roading vehicles. The one guy down the road has one of those giant skeletons. You know, the one that's like 12 feet tall that stands like almost to the size of the house. That thing's pretty cool, but I don't know where he puts it in the summertime though. Actually not by me. The most stuff I see by me is the skeletons, and a lot of people do those blow up things now, where at night they can let the air out, and then in the morning, well, they blow it up like when they get home from work, and then it stays blown up for like most of the night, but when you wake up in the morning they're kind of like flattened again. That's kind of more popular around here, I would say. Probably because it's like less work. I always laugh though because it's Halloween is like right around the corner, and then once that's over, it's Thanksgiving, and then it's Christmas. It's just like one thing after another, and it's already cold out today, so before you know it, Christmas is gonna be here, and all those decorations are over with. I guess you gotta love it to do it. A Halloween tree? What the hell's a Halloween tree? I never enjoyed doing the Christmas stuff only because as a kid my father would be like, get your ass outside, we're putting up Christmas lights. So be out there in the 0-degree weather putting up Christmas stuff, and I think that's what turned me off. I'm like, I don't want to do this. My mother and brother wanted them up, but I didn't care. That I could understand. That I could understand. If you got a Elvira walking around, that's a different story. I didn't have any of that. It's kind of funny you mentioned Elvira, because in the comic books they're doing a DC, well, it's a Harley Quinn Elvira crossover, and they're doing all these covers with them together, which is kind of funny. Some of them are pretty cool. That's kind of a good combo to do, like Elvira and Harley Quinn. Yeah, if you go to Golden Apple Comics and you type in Elvira Harley Quinn, you can see all the variations they're doing. That's one of them too. That's an exclusive. There's two of them. It's one where Harley's holding Elvira, and then there's one where Elvira's holding Harley. And then I guess in issue 3, Power Girl's in there. So now there's covers with Power Girl, Elvira, and Harley. So I'm kind of interested to see if it's a good series or not. Only reason why I found out about it is I saw that Amanda Conner posted her her comic version, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And I looked into it. Good man. You ensured that she kept doing Elvira, right? Where's my window go? What happened? There it is. So did you guys see the Prime 1 event? They showed off that Red Sonja on the throne. Really, really nice. If I was a Red Sonja fan, I would probably really want to get that. But I am not a Red Sonja fan, so it's a really nice statue. Yeah, it's a really beautiful statue. Yeah, it's kind of like statues like that. It's like if that's my character and it's like the Holy Grail of Holy Grails, I'd find a way to make room for it. But since it's not something I care for, I won't have the room. But yeah, you definitely need room. It's like my collection room is set up for 1/4 scales. But if there ever happens to be like a 1/3 that's like godly, if it could fit in that one big case I have, then I would get it. But they did a couple other ones for their event, but that's the one I remember the most. Oh wait, what was the? Oh, they did the Catwoman. That one was nice too. If they did a 1/4 scale of that Catwoman, I might be tempted. So I think that Catwoman is a 1/3, right? So there's no way I'm getting a 1/3 of that. But that was a nice Catwoman. I heard bad things about that Red Sonja show. It's not what it should be, from what I heard. But then again, I don't really know the character too well, so I wouldn't really be able to tell you. And it's not something I really care for either, so I probably will never watch it. I think if she looked more like the comic, I probably would watch it. She doesn't really seem like she looks like the comic at all. So I still want to make a Power Girl my way. I think that would be my holy grail. If I could commission a sculptor to make it exactly how I want her, I would be my holy grail. But I would have to find somebody that would actually put up with me saying tweak this, tweak that, tweak this, you know? But, like, you know that new Power Girl that came out with the Sweeney head? I really, when I first saw it, I was like, I hope that's an STL because all I want is the head, because I would print out the head for the Sideshow Power Girl. But the body looks good, but it's not, it's an hourglass figure, and it looks like her, but it's not athletic strong. You know, it doesn't have that athletic look to her, that she should be a little bit more toned, and, you know, and I wasn't really feeling it, so I had a lot of people asking me, like, oh my god, that'll probably be a grail for you, and I'm like, nah, that's not the grail for me. Like, I like this Sweeney head, if I could have a STL of it printed out for my Sideshow item, so I could swap the heads in and out. But if it's the main statue of just the Sweeney head, I don't really care for, like, a actress on my shelf. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Sideshow did another Power Girl, and it sort of looked like Sydney Sweeney, but not her completely, I would like the head more. But as far as that, the only grail I really have, like, the grail of all my grails, would probably be my Captain Marvel that I made off of the Prime 1 Green Lantern. Like, that one right there is like one of a kind, and it's like the perfect pose for him, and it worked out great. So I would say that's kind of like my main grail right now. But other than that, I would say the Captain Marvel Genis Vale off of Prime 1 is my grail of grails right now. And then I think my second grail would be the one where I made the Bombshell Power Girl off of the Sideshow. The second one. That one just worked so good. I absolutely love the way that one turned out. But the way things are going with STLs and AI, and the way sculpting's getting, like, I would say almost a little easier in a way. Maybe in like another year or two, if I can sort of kind of put some cash together, maybe I can find somebody to make a statue that I really want. It depends on who wrote which character when. During the whole Mary Sue phase, Supergirl was the strongest Kryptonian ever. But then Superman is the strongest Kryptonian ever because he's grew up on Earth and he's been soaking in the sun since he was a baby. But then Power Girl is basically Supergirl, but like Supergirl's a teenager, Power Girl's like in her 20s. So she's older, and in theory she's stronger. So it all depends on whatever character was written when. That's the problem. You know. But then the latest writer for the Power Girl series completely screwed up the whole character, so I don't know what the hell kind of power she has now. She has like telekinesis now and she can teleport. But she's not called Karen anymore. She's or Kara. She's called Paige, based off of the writer's name or something. I don't know. Like, it all depends on who wrote when and what you want to listen to. At one point, wood was like Power Girl's weakness. Like a piece of stick could hurt Power Girl, but kryptonite didn't. But then at one point, she was the daughter of Atlantis. But I don't know. We could argue for days on who's stronger, who's weaker, and stuff. You know, it's one of those. It's one of those characters in that whoever wrote the character at that time screwed it up. But then, if you read the JSA storyline when Kingdom Come Superman ended up in the main Earth 1 universe with regular Superman, Kingdom Come Superman was able to withstand Hercules' punch like it was nothing. And the theory was, because he was such an older Superman, he was way more powerful than the younger Superman. So that's like the other theory too. I don't know. As far as DC goes, all the current year artists and writers kind of screwed everything up, so I don't know what the hell's going on anymore. Most of the new writers for DC's never read a DC book in their lives, so they screwed everything up. Plus, they rather do politics stories than actual superhero comics. I don't know. I wish Jim Lee would put his foot down and actually make these writers learn what the hell they're writing. I don't think he really even cares. He's just like, give me my paycheck. They don't care. They don't care. Look at those female writers from Marvel. They were like, if you don't like my politics, don't buy my books. Nobody bought their books, but Disney kept them on. They didn't fire them. You know, back in the 90s, if an artist or writer came out and said, if you don't like what I'm doing, don't buy my book, and if nobody buys their book, in the 90s and 80s, they would have been let go the next week. They would have been like, alright, your book's not selling, get the hell out. But these days, they look at Star Wars with Disney. Everybody who writes a movie or directs a movie, it bombs, but they fail upwards. So the same thing could be said for DC and Marvel. You know, you keep putting these writers on that nobody is reading their stories, and people actually ignore their books. And they keep them on, which is mind-blowing to me. So that just tells you that it's not about making money anymore. It's about getting the message out. Getting politics out. Ruining the characters. Because like I said, I read the Power Girl series, and I was like, did this writer ever read like a comic of her? Did they ever read any comic of Power Girl? Like, in Infinite Crisis, they finally flushed out the character's history, and it was all set in stone in Infinite Crisis, and this writer came in and completely ignored all of it. And it just went to hell. But I did hear Absolute Universe is amazing. Everybody is saying that the DC Absolute Universe is amazing, and it's doing really, really well. So that just goes to tell you, somebody who's doing like a Elseworld story that knows sort of the characters and has fun with it makes a good story. Just like Ultimate Spider-Man, supposedly he's married to Mary Jane and he has 2 kids, and everybody loves the book. But the main Spider-Man books are not selling. I don't know. I really... all these writers now, they're just so... I don't know. They're not... I don't think they like comics. I really don't think they love comics. Like, as a kid, if I could have worked for a comic book company growing up after art school, I would have just like... that was like the dream. But I think the people that really love comics, they don't care about hiring them. From what I understand, like, you know, like what they call the Comics Gate, it's all gatekeep now. So they got people in higher ranks that are only going to hire these people with their specific views and not people who love comics. So I think that's kind of what's happened with comic books. Everybody let politics ruin their lives. So everything now is kind of like, if you only believe this side of politics, then we'll hire you. Which is dumb. I mean, I read comics to get away from politics. Oh yeah, I've noticed back issues have skyrocketed. I also noticed, I went to the comic book store near me, and they're doing all those facsimile reprints of foil covers. And they're doing all the old stories, like, you know, all the key issues. And I was asking a guy, he's like, I buy these more than regular books because these sell. You know, he's like, people come in and they buy these as reading copies or to give it to their kids because those are the better stories. But he says all the new issues, he'll buy 1 or 2 copies of them, or 3 or 4 or 5, whatever. Because he's like, he's not buying 20 or 30 of them because nobody's buying them. So... I don't know. I wish the comic industry would go back to finding people who love comics. Because a lot of these new writers, they've admitted on interviews that, oh, I never read comics. I don't care for comics. Then I'm like, what the hell are you writing them for? Like, I understand it's a job, but like, you're just ruining the comics for people. But like I said, Jim Lee, I don't think he cares. I think he got into the position, and I think Jim Lee is an artist. I don't think he's really an editor-in-chief or a director or whatever his position is. I think he should just stay an artist. Because he seems like he doesn't tell anybody what to do. It's like he's scared to tell people stuff. So... Like I went to Terrific Con this year in Connecticut with my friend, and I was going through all the bins because I was looking for some older books to finish some runs and just reading copies. And I saw a lot of younger people. When I say younger people, probably people in their 20s, early 30s buying comics. And I was watching what they were buying, and I noticed a lot of them were buying older 80s and 90s stuff to fill up their runs. And I saw a couple of these guys asking them about, you know, oh, do you have these issues, those issues? I don't see any of these people asking for anything new. And you never see anything new at these comic book shows. And when I say new, anything from, I would say 2012 and up. Mostly it's around that 2005 era and downwards. So yeah, I think these writers really killed the hobby. Just focusing on politics and not knowing what the hell they're doing. They're more focused on getting a tweet out about some political candidate or something than actually writing about Superman, you know? And then I decided to look more into like the Pokemon craze because that's like the big thing now, and holy crap, that whole community is like a shit show. There's people stealing cards at shows, and there's people on Whatnot scamming people. There's fake cards out there. I'm blown away of the Pokemon collectors. That's a whole rabbit hole to go down. Oh yeah, I saw guys that were you know, the scalpers. They run to like the Costco's, because when Costco's puts them out, they have the palette of like cards, and they all just like bum rush it and stuff. I was laughing because what a lot of guys do at Walmart's is the employees are in on it, or the people go to the Walmart and they're not allowed to buy. You're only allowed to buy so many packs. they lift up the metal grates at the bottom and they hide the cards underneath the metal grates, and they'll come back another day and you pick them up. So I was watching this one video where an employee goes, watch this, he lifted up the grate and there was all these sports cards and Pokemon cards, and they were all just scattered underneath the metal grates because people were storing them there to pick them up later. And then I saw one guy, he knocked over a kid just to get the Pokemon cards before the kid could get them. I was just like, they're on a whole new level, man. They really are. They're like, man, I don't know if you remember back in the day with not Garbage Pail Kids, the Cabbage Patch Kids, where people were like bum rushing the stores to get those dolls. It's kind of like that now with the Pokemon cards. Like, same thing with the Elmo that one year. But with Pokemon, it's just all year round. I also saw that over in China, people travel to Japan to get the Pokemon cards, and they caused such a shitstorm over there to get them. I saw one guy, he was in, I think it was Japan, he was online screaming because he couldn't get the Pokemon cards because they were sold out. Like I said, the Pokemon stuff's on a whole new level. Whole new level. From what I understand, like I said, I'm not really into it, but I think what people do is they do play, but they have play decks versus collecting. But I think it's, from what I watch though, it's a majority of collector videos and like shows. But I think like a lot of kids now, they just sort of collect, they don't really play them. But I'm not really sure though. I'm not really into the hobby. I've just been watching the chaos stuff. Hey Iceman, how's it going? But like I said, I think it's more, I don't know. Some people play, I guess, and some people just collect. But there is a good side to the hobby. So there's these two vendors that I watch once in a while. They actually help get kids into the hobby. So what they do is at like the card shows, when little kids come up to the table, you know, like young kids, like, you know, 5 years old or so, or 3 or whatever, they have like packs and like binders that the kids could go through and take a free card, and then other people donate their cards to them, and they kind of like, so there is some good to the hobby at least. So that's kind of a good thing, but there's still a lot of people out there that are shady, and they're just about making money on this stuff. But those two vendors I watch that stream the shows, they at least they encourage little kids, and they kind of give back, which is kind of cool. So there's some hope for humanity yet, I guess you can say. I like going down those rabbit holes where different hobbies and collectors and stuff, and seeing what's going on, just to get an idea of like where things are. What it is so you'll have like say Pikachu, and then there'll be a hollow foil Pikachu, and there'll be a VMAX Pikachu, and then there'll be the, I guess, the rare one, you know? So when you open up the pack, just think of like, you know, the old Marvel cards back in the 90s, you would get the holograms, those were the super rare ones. So it's like the same thing with Pokemon, except they're really rare, though. Well, I wouldn't say they're really rare, there's just so many people collecting them, so you don't get as many packs to open as we did back in the 90s. You know, the 90s, they made those cards so much of them, and a lot of people collected them, but you have to remember, back in the 90s, there wasn't as many geeks out there as there is now. Like, us as geeks back then, it was a very small number, but they made so many of them, we were able to buy up so many of them. But with Pokemon, you're lucky to get like 5 packs these days, you know? And if you buy a box, you're lucky to see in that box maybe to get that one rare one. So, that's the way I see it, I guess. But Pokemon's been out for so long, there's been so many series and different collections and waves, and there's just so much out there, it's unreal. I wouldn't even know where to start with that stuff. But it is fun to watch the chaos. Oh yeah, the Pokemon Go stuff back when that came out. Oh, that was funny. There's a lot of fights. There's people. I know there was people like leaving work early, getting in trouble just because they found out like a character was like down the road from them or something. Yeah, that was kind of a fun era to watch people. Didn't they have to ban that in Japan there for a bit? Because it was like, it got so bad with people. Is that game still even on the phones? Like, is that still a thing? Wow, that's funny. I never saw anybody playing it, like, you know, like when I was out and about. But I did hear a lot of stories about that damn thing. Like, there was like, I know in this city, there was people bum rushing like areas when they would find out there was a rare one, and there would be like 30 or 40 people running down the block. Thank God I never played it. Yeah, yeah, that is true. Or you could just go for walks normally. Imagine being a boss or a manager and somebody gets up and says, "I'll be right back, I gotta go get a Pokemon down the road." You'd be like, what the hell is going on? I'll have to go back and look if I remember. Because I do remember in Japan they had to... I know it was one country or they banned the app because it got so bad. I thought it was Japan, but it could have been something like Norway or Sweden or something. Probably UK. They ban everything out there. Oh, really? That's funny. I think that would be a better game than Pokemon, you know, walking around seeing a dead person and have to capture him or something. So what, you had to like kill the zombie or you had to capture it? Ah, okay. Wouldn't it be funny if you're at work, you're walking down and some guy's on his phone and he's like jumping in rooms and stuff? It's a good way to get Derek fired pretty fast, you know? I don't know why, it just sounds like a Derek would play that game. just used up all the Aves. What time is it? Wow, I've been on the zone on this shirt. Got a lot done. Wow, didn't even realize it. Oh yeah, those guilds are there's a lot of those out there in games. Especially the MMOs back in the day. EverQuest, Warcraft. Oh, my back. I've been at this too long. I gotta crack it. Oh, hold on a second. Oops. I didn't crush anything, did I? Let's put you like that. Oh! There we go. I cracked it. Oh, man. Whew. Hey, JC, how's it going? Wash my hands and we'll look at the shirt a bit. Oh, still lights on in the house. Let's see what I was doing. Yeah, it was 46 this morning when I woke up, and I had the window open and the fans were going last night, so I woke up and I was freezing. So today I actually tested my heating system to make sure everything was fine and there was no leaks. So I was like, the winter is right around the corner. And I hate the winter. Yeah, I don't think I'll have to turn the heat on tonight, but I might. At least I have the split units before I have to put on the baseboard heat, so I don't have to burn gas yet, which is good. But once it gets to that point where you need the heat on all day long and all night, sadly I'll have to put the baseboard on. Alright, so we worked on the shirt all night, and I like the way it came out. A lot of sanding and putty work, but I think we got a good start. I like it. Actually, I think it's better than one of my... So all I really need to do next is we got to clean it up, put the knot, but I also have to do the cuffs on the sleeves. So I got to do the sleeves next time. Oh, man. But I've been at this for 3 o'clock, almost 4 straight hours. Whew. I don't know, I got in the zone on the shirt. I just kept doing it. Usually I only do like a little section at a time, but I just kept going. Got a lot done. I'm actually happy with it. A little sanding and putty, and I'll have to get it cleaned up. And then we can work on the sleeves and knot. And then afterwards, probably fix up any other parts on her, and then work on the skirt. Let's see what's going on real quick. Just before... Alright. And then we did work on what's her name? Peach earlier. But today was mostly Cammy. So at least starting the midsection of Peach. Trying to make it look like a nice, like, leathery item. So I'll probably do something similar in the back, and then we'll start working out the straps in the center. I had a putty here though because it wasn't even, so I didn't do the center today. I think what I'll do is Dremel down here, put in Aves and put a line inside this area, and then we'll put straps around it. I think that'll look better on that. So, but then I didn't do anything with Misty because she's kind of like, a lot of her is done. So we got to finish up Misty's shoes, but it's Cammy that I really wanted to get going. She kind of fell behind. So I had to kind of get her, but with Peach, we'll kind of keep working on elements on the outfits and just keep plugging away. But I did clean up her sleeves a bit. I gotta just finish up the head before I attach the hair. That's gonna be a little bit of a bitch. And then we gotta do the collar area and just keep going. But I like all three now. They're coming together. So I gotta sand her down some, clean her up, and keep plugging away. But I think that's where I'm calling it at night. My back is shot for today. So I'll just keep plugging away on these, get these cleaned up for next week, and we'll just keep adding on elements. A lot of little details left, cleaning up. The skirt's going to be a pain in the ass. Raz has the files. He's going to print out the hair and hat for Cammy. So that's going to, not really too worried about that yet. But once I figure out Misty's sleeves, how I'm going to do those sleeves, we got to work on her pouch. And then we could start doing the hair. So, just keep plugging away. I think I want to kind of get Misty's shoes kind of cleaned up first, though. I think I got to get the shoes kind of cleaned up. And then maybe start working on the pouch and stuff. But that's where I'm at. So, I'm calling it a night. I'm tapped. So, you guys have a good rest of your weekend. And we'll see you guys next week.
All right.